Welcome back to another episode of Know Your Anime. Today we will continue our recap on campfire cooking in another world with my absurd skill. Last time, we saw that Fell takes Mukohda to a mysterious place, and after reaching the cave, Doggy reveals that it is a dungeon. Mukohda asks worriedly about the reason they have come to a place like this, and Fell commands him to obtain more experience and power by clearing the dungeon. Pissy Pants tries to run away from the challenge, but Doggy grabs him and throws him inside the dungeon. After a bit of begging and pleading for his life, he finally agrees and starts his preparation to conquer the dungeon. Mukohda reveals to Fell that by using his skill and eating the otherworldly food makes them stronger than before for a temporary period of time. Therefore he orders a shit ton of food and asks Fell and Sui to eat the leftovers that remain after his power feast. He starts eating the delicious-looking foods one by one, and Fell notices the increase in his status, and Mukohda reveals that Sui can level up by eating things other than food. After stuffing up his stomach to the brim, he checks up on everyone's status, and sees that there is a 20% increase in their stats. Now that they are all prepared for the quest, they enter the dungeon. As soon as they enter the dungeon, they face off against a slime, but Sui is able to one-shot the poor fellow by using his acid attack. More slimes appear, and Mukohda is easily able to defeat them with his earth magic. Fell reveals that the dungeon is like a living monster, and anything that dies inside the dungeon will be absorbed by it. They reach the second floor, and this time they face off against horny rabbits. Arriving on the next floor, they fight against goblins, and Mukohda uses fire magic to blast off all the green blimps. While approaching the next floor, Fell warns him that they are going to face off against the kobold monsters next. Mukohda is scared shit upon seeing the scary two-legged wolf monsters, and tries to run away in desperation. Since he has no other choice but to fight, he uses his earth magic to attack them, and knocks them out. Just as he was trying to show off, Fell warns him not to act cocky after firing just 3 measly rocks, and they all proceed to the last floor of the dungeon. When they arrive at the last floor, Mukohda almost pees his pants upon seeing shit ton of those wolf monsters in front of them. Fell orders him to fight against all of them, and even though Sui is ready to go ham on their ass, Mukohda tries to bail out of this fight. But Fell pushes him towards the monsters, and a fight begins. The kobolds start attacking Mukohda, but the barrier protects him, and the kid slime one-shots them, using his acid. Mukohda also starts fighting, and it soon turns into a shooting game for both of them. They are easily able to defeat all the kobold monsters, and just then, the kobold king appears in front of them. Mukohda tries to keep attacking him using stone bullets, but the monster is not at all affected by its power. As the monster gets close to him, he fires of a big stone bullet this time, and this somehow knocks it down. King Kobold starts getting angry, and Mukohda tries to attack him again, but he is all out of magic juice. Just as the Kobold King attacks, the barrier protects Mukohda yet again, and while the monster is distracted with him, Sui shoots out a heck ton of acid, and obliterates the monster. Sui starts glowing right after defeating the monster, but Mukohda soon becomes unconscious. Sui wakes him up after some time, and while talking, he is surprised to find out that Sui can actually talk to him. Sui reveals that he was able to start talking after killing the Kobold King, and begins calling Mukohda his master. Mukohda is super happy with its ultra cuteness, and finds out that both of them have leveled up after clearing the dungeon. Funny thing is that even a newly born slime like Sui is stronger than Mukohda. Just then, Fell returns back from his hunt, and orders Mukohda to cook something amazing, immediately. Mukohda whips up a tasty-looking rice bowl and fried pork cutlets, and the three of them have their lunch peacefully. While talking, Sui starts calling Fell to be its uncle, and this somehow infuriates the big bad wolf, and he scares the shit out of the slime. Sui starts crying and Mukohda makes fun of him for not acting like an adult, and Fell somehow agrees to be called as an uncle. The next day, they continue their traveling, and Mukohda finds out that they are currently passing through the territories of the monsters called Orthrus and Griffin. This terrifies him, since they are both boss-level monsters, but Fel shuts him up from being scared, since those idiots are no match for his power. As they reach the middle of the forest, couple of fearless stupid Orthruses attack them, and Doggy just one-shots them using his skill. And even Mukohda is surprised to see that. Seeing this, the rest of the two-headed dogs run away like pussycats, and when both of them praise him, Fel starts talking proudly about his skill. But Mukohda keeps praising Sui to be the best, which makes the doggy a bit pissed off. At night, Mukohda starts cooking the snake monster, like a piece of prime ribs, which turns out to be quite tasty. Fel and Sui gobble up everything he cooked, and he suddenly notices that there are only a couple of pieces left for himself, and he has no other choice but to eat a simple sandwich for dinner. The next day, while continuing their travel, they come across a place full of healing mushrooms, and Mukohda starts stocking them up for future use. Sui also eats some of the mushrooms, which causes it to evolve. Mukohda runs an appraisal on it and finds out that Sui now has the ability of recovery medicine creation. Fel reveals that slimes can evolve depending on what they eat, and since our fuzzball ate a large number of healing mushrooms, it evolved into a healing slime. Mukohda is quite amazed at this, and asks Sui to use the skill it has learned. Sui starts pouring out the medicine like tap water, and Mukohda hurriedly puts a bottle under it, to collect all the juice leaking out. Looks like Sui can produce different types of medicinal juice using its skill, and, after using his appraisal he finds out that the healing potion can heal up, even nearly dead living beings. Fel mentions that this is the first time he has encountered a healing slime, and Sui must be a unique variant. After 3 days of traveling through the Griffin territory, a Griffin approaches them and starts talking. He requests Fel to fight him, so that the Griffin can become the next leader of their pack. Fel agrees to fight him, but Mukohda orders him not to kill the Griffin. A serious fight begins between the two, with both of them using their skills, but it looks like the Griffin is no match for his powers, and Fel is easily able to defeat him. After the fight ends, Mukohda rushes towards the Griffin, and heals him using the recovery potion created by Sui. Just as he starts to feel pathetic, Mukohda points out that the Griffin actually managed to land a hit on Fel, and this makes him happy, since he is now accepted as a leader by his group. The Griffin gives his feather to Mukohda while bidding farewell, and promises to never harm him while passing the area. While they are having their dinner, Fel suddenly asks if Mukohda has offered his prayers to the goddess yet, to which he realizes that he has completely forgotten all about it. Looks like the goddess is sulking at her palace, and she is quite angry at Mukohda, since she hasn't received any offerings lately. Mukohda immediately delivers a variety of tasty-looking Western desserts to her, and she is completely blown away by how good it tastes, and forgives Mukohda immediately. After traveling for 1.5 months, they finally cross the forest, and head towards the Kingdom of Reijseger. When Doggy finds out that their meat storage is soon going to run out of meat, he rushes toward their destination. Suddenly they encounter a group of bandits attacking a carriage of travelers, and Mukohda orders him to save those people, in exchange for a delicious meal later on. Quite motivated upon hearing this, Fel charges straight into the fight, and with one loud roar, he is able to stop everyone from whatever the heck they were doing. The bandits drop their weapons, and they are tied up by the adventurers. Old Man Lambert is grateful to Mukohda for saving him, as well as his group of adventurers, called Phoenix something. Looks like they are heading towards Carolina, which is a city situated northwest of Leonhardt, and they all agree to travel together towards their destination. If you have enjoyed the video so far, you should definitely watch this next.